Warrior football. True Warrior football. True Warrior football.
You are listening to True Warrior Football Podcast with your host, Corey Kid Smith.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is just phenomenal to be back. You know, I've been wanting to do more video stuff lately. Work-wise, it has not allowed me to really do a lot more, but hopefully here in the near future, we change that. Still be an audio component as well. Still be a great audio component as well. A lot of things I want to go over with everyone today with this show. So, but before I do that, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment about what you think about this video as well. Got a lot of stuff going to talk about. If you're listening on the audio platforms, where you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any other podcast network you are listening to, thank you. Make sure to rate, give this 5 stars as well, and share this with people out there that you think may like this show, may like everything I got going on here, because I'm going to take it up to a few notches here, and hopefully you guys can come along on the ride if you have not been along for the ride so far. Now, the football season ended for us. Unfortunately, we were one and done in the playoffs. Ended, I think, the day before Halloween, I think October 30th, something like that. Rainy night against Lawrence Central at Lawrence Central, and I've not been able to really fully get all the end of season awards named and done until most recently. Usually every year, one of the last things awards that's decided is the Warrior's Choice Award, and the Warrior's Choice Award is an award where you, the viewers, listeners of the show, you vote on certain plays, which ones you go and think about. I did the seating of the plays with my man Isaiah last year, and we talked about some of the great plays and stuff. And the top seeded play of the onside kick against Ben Davis, that was number 1. The number 2 play, Brian Stevens' interception return for a touchdown against LC, was a play I really thought was a huge play. Even though we ended up losing that game still, I thought that play right there was just a huge play. And it ended up winning in the end in a 3-way championship battle against Josiah Edmonds. 2 interceptions that he had against one against Lawrence North, another one against Ben Davis. 2 phenomenal plays by the young sophomore who is going to be a truly phenomenal junior this upcoming season. Looking very much forward to seeing what he does. But Brian ended up being out Josiah's 2 plays and winning that. So congratulations, Josiah, for winning the 2021 Warrior's Choice Award tourney. Very happy for you. Looking forward to seeing what you got going on here in the future. I know you got a lot of stuff going on the track and field there, doing some great things so far in the indoor season. Continue up the great work. Now, that's that for that award. Let's move on to the other awards. Of course, you got an Offense Player of the Year. And who else? This guy right here, I didn't expect a wide receiver to come onto the scene and really do the things that he's done so soon after David Bell. But Joe Walker, all right, this phenomenal, truly amazing. End the season with 10 touchdowns, but in those 10 touchdowns and 27 catches, had over 500 yards. It was like, he wears 81, and man, when he gets that ball, he is just like T.O. All right, get your popcorn ready. He's knocking it out the park. Long ball, touchdowns. I mean, just phenomenal. The stuff that he did in the Ben Davis game, stuff he did in I think it was the second, no, it was the first LN game. He had a really big touchdown in that one. It, LC game, first LC game. But he was big time for us all over the place this year. Caught touchdowns from 3 different quarterbacks this year, whether it's Tip, Prince Powell, or Josiah Edmonds, as I named earlier. Did some really, really great things for us this season. He's probably the best wide receiver coming back in the state of Indiana this upcoming year. Already got big time offers from schools in the ACC, Big Ten. I want to say there's some Big East schools possibly offering him. I think Ball State just offered him as well. He is definitely going to have a lot of things going well for him in the future. So congrats, Joe. I still think you could turn it up just a little bit for us. But hey, I love what you brought to the team this season. So I continue to do those great things. Moving on, Defensive Player of the Year. We just talked about this guy, really, Brian Stevens. I think what he did for our team this year was phenomenal. Senior leadership is always key. And him being that guy in the back of our defense was really, he did wonderful things. Over 50 tackles, 30 of those solo tackles, 2 interceptions, had an interception against the defending state champion in Center Grove in week 1. Huge play right there. And then the aforementioned play in our last game of the season. He's doing some great things, man. And I wish this guy was coming back for us. But, he was a senior this year. He's moving on. He's going to be doing some great things at the next level. I will let you guys know where he heads to. He may be a guy where he doesn't play football, does some track and field at the next level. Don't know, but we shall see. And I'll definitely make sure you guys are stayed up to date on that. And for Special Teams Player of the Year, our girl JC Merchant. It was something I had thought we were going to see, but it ended up being really, really nice to see her actually come out there. And she wasn't somebody that was just, a gimmick. She was never a gimmick football player for us. She was actually a young lady that came out there and worked for her position, worked for her spot, and truly earned it. Earned respect of not just the coaches, but the players on the team as well. Earned my respect as well. Phenomenal young lady. She's going to go off and play soccer collegiately at, I want to say it was University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, I believe. I had her on the show back in August, and we did a great interview with that. So go back and listen to that interview right there that her and I did. But she's a phenomenal individual. She ended up having 20 of 21 PATs on the season. I think the one PAT she missed was a bad snap. We tried to get her a couple times. The team tried to get her an opportunity to kick a field goal. The conditions just weren't right. So I really would have liked to have seen her try for a field goal at some point during the season. It didn't happen, but it is what it is. But 20 for 21 on PATs. I couldn't go out there and kick 20 PATs. I couldn't get one off. And here she is, going out there against, all these big guys that are rushing and trying to take her head off. And she right down the pipe, so great for her. Great for her. That's, being the first of anything is always going to be difficult. But being the first woman football player in your conference and at a historic program like ours, our program's been around for over 80 years. And being the first woman to step in and really come in and do something unheard of is just historic. And, I don't know if this is going to encourage or inspire other female kickers to come, or maybe female players in general. I don't know. But I'm glad that she came in, did her thing and really showed like, hey, I can come out here and do what I can to help the team, and I won't be a distraction. I won't be somebody that's out here, trying to get all this press clippings and stuff like that, or just, like I said, being a gimmick. That wasn't her, and my hat's off to you, JC. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Best luck to you moving forward. Let's see here. Let's see here. Those are four of our biggest awards, and there's a few other awards here. But matter of fact, let me go back to this one. All right, before I get into my more serious awards here, gotta give it to our guy David Bell, wide receiver at Purdue, College Warrior Player of the Year. I've done this award 3 times, and each time David Bell has won this award. I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air whether or not I should just name it the David Bell College Warrior Player of the Year Award. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see moving forward. But David was phenomenal this year. Biletnikoff Award finalist for Best College Wide Receiver in college. Won the Howard Richter, which is the Big Ten's Receiver of the Year Award. He won that. Had 93 catches on the season, 1,286 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. It's many great games he's had. You would have thought he would have had more touchdowns receiving on the year, but I don't know what to say on that one. Had 2 200-yard receiving games, and they both came against top 3, not top 5, top 3 opponents. On the road at Iowa, he had 240, which is good for second all-time single season or single game in Big Ten in Purdue's history. And then that was on the road. And then at home against Michigan State, he had 217 against the number 3 team in the nation. So the man showed up to play. He showed up to play. Like, I don't know what more you need to say about him. First team All-American this year for David. That's phenomenal. He's already declared for the NFL draft. He had a great interview on the I Am Athlete podcast. It was him, Chris Olave, and I want to say the guy's name was Zamir White, running back from Georgia. All 3 of those guys are declared. Chris Olave coming from Ohio State. All of those guys sat down with Brandon Marshall and Chad Johnson it was really a great interview. I really wish the interview was just like maybe an hour longer, because they had some great stuff going there, and as it was going, it just ended. So I wish we could have got a little bit more there from those group of guys right there, but it was really great to see David represent. He told a great story about Dijon as well, and how he, hardships that he's gone through when dealing with that. That was really, really touching to see David do that and represent our program and our side of town, really. And so he did some great things there. David ends his career with over 200 catches, 2,900 receiving yards, and 21 touchdowns receiving as well. Also add in 51 yards rushing and another touchdown. I think that was a touchdown his freshman season against Maryland, I think, which ended up being the game-winning touchdown as well. He ends up being top 5 all-time in Purdue history in career receiving yards in a season, career yards total, and yards in a game, as well as touchdowns. So he left his mark as one of the top 5 wide receivers of all time in Purdue history. And just think, he didn't play in the bowl game this year. He actually never played in a bowl game for Purdue. Crazy. Last year, they had the COVID-shortened season. I think they only played like 6 or 7 games right there. So if he just would have had an opportunity to play in 12, 13 games the 3 years he was there, I mean, he easily could have gotten to 4,000 yards receiving, probably would have had close to 30 touchdowns or more. Just, you're looking at one of the best wide receivers in all of Purdue history. So, David, congrats to you. This award is truly befitting of you. You carry yourself phenomenally well over these years. You made all of us proud back home, man. So, thank you. All right. So, moving on. that was that. I have some other awards here I like to give out every year. Last year was the third time I gave out the Warrior Spirit Award. Um, and this year, it's a very touching because my man, Mad Maddox, Money Maddox, whatever you want to call him, but Maddox Tavernier, a guy that was in our program up until I want to say 2018. He was a sophomore on the team. I think he transferred and went and pursued playing time in another program, which is fine. But Coach Mann, I remember Coach Mann saying this vividly to me, that during that season, Maddox was so instrumental to him and the rest of the defensive staff and defensive players in running the scout team offense and really giving our defense, a great defense that we had, ended up winning state with, giving those guys great looks, giving them the opportunity to be in, the right place to make the plays that they need to make as Maddox was running the scout team quarterback. And, I went to a few JV games I was able to go to, and, this guy was a leader. He would go out there and make big-time plays, just doing really great things for our program. And I really hated to see him leave. And, he left, and I was hoping for the best, and I didn't really hear much from him more after he left. And I wondered, what's going on with Maddox? And for a while, I didn't have an answer to that. And then a story broke out, and I'll make sure I retweet it today for you guys. A story broke out a few months ago about the health journey he went through. And I did not know at the time, but I want to say it was either 2019 or 2020, he had gotten diagnosed with bone cancer. They found it in his knee. He was having problems on a hiking trip with his family, and his career was basically cut short. He wasn't able to go out there and play great varsity football for whoever he was playing for, and he fought through so much. The chemotherapy he was going through, it's terrible. And so he was able to overcome all that. And now he's a member of the Ball State football program as an equipment manager. And it's just, you have to really watch this video that's online to really get a great grasp of how great of an obstacle this young man had to overcome. I mean, at one point he thinks, maybe this is it. Maybe this is all I've ever going to accomplish. Maybe I don't get to see, past 19 years of age. But he does. And he's overcome it. He's cancer remission free at the moment. It's just truly, truly inspiring work. And I don't know if I could have beaten or had the strength to go through what he has gone through and overcome. So Maddox Tavernier, 2021 Warrior Spirit Award recipient. Congrats to Maddox. I used to work with his mother, Shannon, back in the building all the time. It's just comes from a great family. His father, Tony, those guys come from Chicago, so we would talk Bear stuff all the time. And, this is a great family, man. And I'm so glad to see Maddox fought through this and overcome it. So I'm more than happy to see that he gets this award. And moving on, the next award I want to give out is the Larry Willen Memorial Coach of the Year Award. And Coach Willen was, one of the greatest coaches in our program, regardless of him being a very successful head coach or just assistant coach or not. He's just a guy that was in our program for decades and decades. And this award, I truly feel I have so much pride in giving to a current coach on our staff because it means so much to me. Because Coach Willen meant so much to everybody in our program. And the recipient for this year's award is none other than freshman head coach, Coach Stephen McLean. Coach McLean, he was a guy that was mentored and brought up under Coach Woolen. He did so much great things back there in the equipment room, and in the last decade or so with Coach Woolen, he learned so many great things back there working with him, and he's transitioned now to coaching his own group of young men, and I'm sure Coach Woolen had a lot of great things to say to him as he was making that transition as well. And McLean has taken those lessons that he's learned from Coach Woolen, Coach Hart, Coach West, Coach Tutsi, all those great coaches he's been a coach under, and has created a monster of a unit with these freshmen. I'm telling you guys, I go out there and watch them, and I'm like, oh my God. Whew. I'm just astounded by how well these guys are. And it's a testament to Coach McLean and his staff. And Coach McLean, this year they went undefeated, won the MIC at the freshman level. And he also won, it was a spring league tournament that he won with the 14Us. And I want to say there was a tournament that they won before that. It was a 14U tournament down in Knoxville, Tennessee that they won. And Coach McLean, those guys is doing some phenomenal things with this freshman class. And it's coming up. I mean, these guys are going to be, man, like I said earlier, get your popcorn ready. All right, because it's going to be something very special on the east side very soon. And I have to say a big part of that is thanks to Coach McLean and his staff. We had opened up the season against Center Grove. And Center Grove was saying, oh, yeah, COVID issues, and we beat them by 20-some points or something like that, and they wanted a rematch. There was an opportunity between both of our teams to face each other again, which never happens at freshman level, but it just so happens that it happened this season. So Center Grove came back to the east side, all their cats, they had all their guys, they were healthy, and Coach McLean played by that axiom, that old Coach Tutsi axiom, our cats are better than their cats, and whooped up on them again. I just loved it. He has some great guys out there making plays all over the field. I'm telling you, it's offensively, they're very good, very talented. Defensively, just a stout. All right. Like I said, Coach McLean has built himself a great staff, whether it's Coach Pope, Coach Jackson, Coach Brown as well. Coach Breeding has done some great things with these guys. I know I'm leaving off some other coaches that are there that are helping out, but they're all doing fantastic jobs. And, Coach McLean being the leader of that, I feel it's very appropriate for him to receive this award. Usually, I wouldn't pick this award, or I say usually. The first time I handed out this award, it was picked and decided by senior players on the team. And with me not being in the building right now, it's very difficult to get all the senior players together and have them vote on a certain coach on the staff. So I took it upon myself to look over everything I saw in the program and, who was doing what. And I felt like Coach McLean was the obvious choice right here. And, from knowing him from when he was sophomore, junior in the program to where he is now, I love seeing the transition that he's made to becoming a great leader of men, young men. And I know he's going to continue to mold the men that he's going to have come up under him as he leads the freshman team. So congrats to Coach McLean. I got something special for you coming your way as well with this. So congrats to you once again. And for the last award I give out is the Warrior Legend Award. And I don't know if you want to call this the MVP of the season. Sometimes it's been that way with previous winners. David Bell was the first winner of this award. Kobe won this award a couple years ago. Joe Jackson and Joe Jackson and my man. I don't know why I cannot think of the winners. Oh my God, this is so bad for. I cannot think of who won this award with Joe last year. But regardless, this is usually that's what it is. It's the MVP of the season, and this year, I've said it before. You know, our program is historic. Period. Point blank. I've said that for many shows, and playing quarterback at our program is special, truly special. And I liken it to being, middle linebacker for Chicago Bears, or think of a great position, and that's it. Running back for the Dallas Cowboys. That's always going to be a very special position. And playing quarterback at Warren Central is definitely one of those. And we had some great quarterback play at times this season from Prince Powell, but there was one in particular game and moment that stands out above all. That's the second half against Ben Davis. And this year's recipient of the Warrior Legend Award is quarterback Daniel Tippett IV. And I've been around countless Warren Central football games over the last 20 years. And I've seen great performances by our guys. But I've never seen a performance by a quarterback that wasn't the starter, that came in on the road and did what Tippett did in that game. And not just any game, the Ben Davis game. And if you've listened to me on the show over the years, you know how special I treat this rivalry, because it is the biggest and the best rivalry in Indiana high school football. You'll never convince me any other way. And what Tippett was able to do in the second half of that game, coming in for an injured or sick Prince Powell, was just truly phenomenal. He had the interception early, but then he came back and threw touchdown after touchdown after big play after big play. And I'm like, okay, now we have something going here. And it was just really incredible to see him take control of the offense, take control of the game. On the road, mind you, we're down 2 scores, almost 3 scores at one point. And still he finds a way to get our team in position to win the game. And we actually come away victorious 57-56. And like I said before, that is a game, that is a moment that we all will remember forever. 30 years from now, we're going to be like, oh man, you remember that time where we were down and Tippett came in and led one of the greatest comebacks of all time? Yeah. I'm already don't have any hair, but my beard's going to be fully gray, and be hunched over. But yeah, I'm definitely going to remember that game, that moment, for the rest of my life. I'm definitely going to remember the touchdown pass to Khalil, the touchdown pass that Joe ended up catching. That was a bobble touchdown. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he caught that. I remember all that. I remember after the game is 0-0 and we finally, it's over, picking him up on the sidelines and just being so happy for him, because I've watched this young man since he was in 8th grade. And, short guy, not nearly as big as all the other players on his team, but man, the heart he has to go out there and deliver is bigger than everybody's. Bigger than everybody's out there. Because so many people would have literally folded in that moment. literally folded. Oh man, woe is me. I can't get, we're down. I'm getting sacked. I'm getting, my guys aren't catching passes, or, I just can't make it. I wasn't prepared. So many people would have literally folded, pressure bust pipes, and their pipes would have been busted. And it just would have been, we would have took an L, a 20-point L on the road, against our rival. And that would have been it. We just get ready for next week. But no, Tippett didn't do that. He didn't do that because he knew the moment was too big to come up short in. He knew it. Our teammates knew it. His teammates said, hey, you're the guy that's going to go out here and lead us. You have to be. There's nobody else. There's nobody else that's going to go out here and do it. So you have to go out there and do it. And he did it. So, yeah, the Warrior Legend Award is my favorite award. And I am very happy to bestow this honor onto quarterback Daniel Tippett. Congrats, Daniel. And now I've said all that, and I need to get to the meat of the episode, I would say. There comes a great... No, I won't say that. In this profession, you come across a lot of coaches. Some coaches, other coaches are just, don't listen to that guy. He's terrible. And then there are the coaches that are exceedingly bright and just know their stuff. And one of those coaches for me was this man. Coach Rex Roeder. It has been a tough couple weeks for me. Rex that's a truly, truly special individual. He was a pain in all of our butts. That's for sure. That is for certainly sure. But he was always a guy that was going to go out there and try to coach as many people as he could to make them better. And unfortunately, with all that being said, it's tough because now with him passing on February 11th, I don't have that coach to look forward to talking to anymore. And I have so many fond memories of Rex, good and bad ones. My God, man, this guy, I had an opportunity to speak at his funeral this past weekend. I wanted to share with you all that weren't able to be there, came earlier and couldn't stay for whatever reason. I want to share what I had to say to you all now. So bear with me. I didn't write it down. It was all from the heart, off the dome, and it was one of the tougher speeches I've had to give, but one of the ones I enjoy giving. So bear with me here. I may add in a little more, may forget some things I may have said, but basically it's the gist of it. Rex Roeder. What more can I say about this guy? I worked with Rex from 2004 season when I came into the program until 2020 when he wasn't able to be around the program anymore because of his health. And in that entire time, Rex was Rex was Rex. And really, I'm a little jealous because you see him in his casket here. He's buried in his Warren jacket and stuff. And it's like, dang it, Rex. That's like something I want to be buried in. So now I got to figure out what I want to be buried in now. So thank you, Rex, for taking away that opportunity for me. I'm really jealous of you, all right? And he always said he wanted to be buried with a remote and a Diet Coke in his hand. So hopefully we get that in there as well in his casket. So let's get that out the way as well. But yeah, Rex was a very, he was a character, man. He truly was a character. He would always tell me, oh, kid, I used to be this great athlete. It's like, whatever, Rex. You ain't used to be no athlete. Because if you knew Rex, you really met him when he was, dealing with all the things he had going on. I mean, this man had more metal in his body than anybody I've ever known. I mean, he had like 15 joint replacement surgeries over his lifetime. Like, I'm talking about hip replacements, both hip replacements done 3 or 4 times each, shoulder replacement surgeries, wrist surgeries. I mean, man, this dude's been put together more times than Humpty Dumpty, man. And you see him, he waddles around like this, and it's like, Rex, there's no way you were an athlete. But he truly was an athlete back in his day. And to prove it, he would often call up people that he used to coach or people that, saw him actually do stuff. And it would confirm that, yeah, this guy was actually a pretty good athlete back in his day. And, he came up coaching kickers at Warren, but he could coach a lot of different positions, really. He just didn't shoehorn himself into that stuff. But he came up coaching a lot of our great kickers in our program over the last 15, 20 years. Square toe kickers, is one of the things that specialize in. He's probably, him and Coach Wilman are probably one of the reasons why Max Hernandez was able to have so much success during his time in our program. And, this guy Rex is just, he's special, man. He's special. He took me to a lot of Colts games as well. And it's so funny. First time he took me to a Colts game with him, he's like, kid, we're going to go to Shapiro's first. All right, so all right, I had never been to Shapiro's before. I had heard of it. And Shapiro's is a great deli downtown Indianapolis. And so it's like, kid, go in there, order what you want, and we're going to eat, and then we're going to go to the game. It's like, all right, Rex. So, I get me a roast beef sandwich. I think I get like a sweet tea or something like that, and a slice of chocolate cake. Nothing fancy. And for years, this dude always said, oh my God, I took it to a Colts game and I took him to Shapiro's and he made me spend more money than I've ever spent in there before. Like, dang, Rex, what do you expect at Shapiro's, man? This ain't like going down to the corner store. This ain't like it's a cheap 7-Eleven that you're going to Shapiro's. If you haven't been to Shapiro's, definitely go get the roast beef. It's the best. But he would tease me all the time. We would actually end up going a lot of times and watching, primetime Colts games at his friend Dave Enright's house. And he will always call, we're going to go over Enrong's. What do you always call him? We're going to go over Enrong's house. We're going to watch the game over there. And, it would always be a fun time going over there. The Enrights had a great setup at their house, and it was always a good time. And Dave and Rex's relationship goes back 40, 50 years or so, maybe longer than that. He used to coach with Dave in the 80s at Hamlin Southeastern when Dave Enright was the head coach over there. And I think it was 81, 82 or so, they won the state championship at HSC. So that was Rex's first state championship. And then he spent some time at Decatur in the 90s before he finally came over to Warren. And that's where he just won everything. He ended up leaving this program winning 7 state championships. 7. And at one point, it was really just Coach Willen with his 9 and Rex with his 7. That was it. I think Coach Clayton kind of can claim 7, but, for the last 3 or 4, he was AD. So, it kind of counts, but kind of doesn't count. But it is what it is. But Coach Willen and Coach Roeder here, Rex, 2 of the most successful coaches in our program history. And in 2018, I I had the opportunity of being around both of them for the first time in forever. It was really great, man. It really, that first season of doing this show and doing this program was just phenomenal, phenomenal. And that's where you see this great picture of Rex and I after the team won state, and I got pictures with a lot of my defensive guys, and I was like, Rex, come on, let's get a picture together. He wants to get a picture with the trophy too. It's all right, here you go, Rex. But I mainly wanted a picture with Rex. I couldn't think I had a great picture of Rex and I. And so here we go. And so the year after that, what did he say the year after that? It was more like, yeah, it was 2019. It was probably August, September or so. Coach Willen passes. And at Coach Willen's funeral, Rex and I sat right next to each other. And now here I am at Rex's funeral, sharing these stories with you all. Two phenomenal men that had great and profound impact on my life. And I go back and I look through my wedding picture album, and I see Rex right there. It's funny, really. It's like 5 years to the day of his funeral was my bachelor party. And I invited Rex to come to the bachelor party. I didn't think he would come, but he showed up to the dinner, at least, you know. And we're sitting down at the Ocean Air downtown, and we're having fun, drinks and stuff, talking and sharing stories. And, you know, he would call Coach Tutsi and I GB1, GB2. I ain't gonna get into what that meant and everything. If you know, you know. If you don't, oh well, sorry. But, you know, we're sitting down eating, and they hand me the check for my meal. And I said, whoa, lady, all right? My name's Crime. Crime don't pay. So I pushed it right over to Rex. He took it, swiped the card, took care of me. Also took care of, like, the hotel suite that we had for the night. They had my room all messed up. It was supposed to be ready at 4. It wasn't ready at 8 still. He got them to cut that rate down. Ended up paying, like, ridiculous, like, an easily ridiculous amount for a great room that we had there. It was phenomenal. Yeah, man. This guy Rex was truly very special to me. And even more special were all the times and battles I would sit and watch him and Coach Tutsi get into. I would be right there in the middle of the three of us arguing back and forth, bickering about who God knows what. It was practice, some Decatur stuff. It was really just the best of times, man. Because those two hated to love each other, and they loved to hate each other, man. It was truly the best. And I've seen remotes thrown at each other. I've seen staplers thrown at each other. There was one time there was even a drink thrown at each other, a big gulp of Diet Coke thrown across the room. And it didn't hit either one of them, but it left a big stain on the floor we had to deal with. So that was that. You know, Rex is truly one of the better coaches I've ever been around in my career. And like I said, he's been very helpful and instructive to me on and off the field. He always said when he found out I was doing what I was like, kid, get your boss to do a story on me. You know, we both went to Ball State and everything like that. We're both warring people. He's like, all right, Rex, you know, he's not going to have time for that. You know, I don't even know. Like, he barely has stuff for the stuff that he's always doing right now. But I said to Rex, you know, when I have an opportunity, I'm going to come home and I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to dedicate a show to you in a tribute and have you tell your stories and everything. And that was, oh man, that was like August or so. And every time I would come home, I didn't have an opportunity to sit down with him like I wanted to. Come home, you know, I was like, I'm home for like 36 hours. And 36 hours goes by like that. And each time I think I was home for Christmas, 2-3 weeks. Get COVID, you know, test positive for that. I can't be around much people, so I didn't get a chance to see him then. And the last time I talked to Rex was January 30th. he had called me and told me, things are going on, and the doctors had told him that they didn't think he had much more time, and that he had put up a good fight. And to know Rex is to know that he's been dealing with so many health issues for so long. And he always said, I'm not going to be around much longer. But he had been saying that for like 10 years. Like, Rex, you're going to be around for forever. And January 30th was the last time I talked to him. And he would be gone in less than 2 weeks. But I knew then what I knew now. If I knew then what I knew now, I would have made that trip happen. But it's interesting. I came back unexpectedly to be at his service. And I said, being in Indiana was the last place I wanted to be this week. I had never been in Indiana where it's rainy, it's cold, It has been the last place I had expected to be. But because of Rex, he had a way of making people do things that they didn't expect to do or didn't want to do. So there I was, paying tribute and homage to a colleague and a good friend. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. So, this is for you, Rex. Thanks for everything. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to and watch another great episode of True Warrior Football, dedicated to the life and memory of Rex Roeder. Thank you, and God bless. Before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to show and read the obituary that was provided to everyone that attended Rex's funeral. I know a lot of you are still probably listening via the podcast and are not watching the video component that's been put out for this week. So I figured it would be best for me to read it to those as well and for everybody else that's watching. Rex Roeder, age 67, of Fishers, passed away February 11th, 2022. He was born in Indianapolis to Richard and Wilma Roeder. Rex graduated from Broad Ripple High School in 1973 and went on to earn his bachelor's degree from Ball State University. Rex had a fierce love for his daughters and grandchildren, a big heart for animals, especially his Boston Terriers Barney and Buster, and a passion for sports. Football was a large part of his life, in which he found many successes. He led numerous Indiana high school football teams, most notably Warren Central, to state championship titles. In his glory days at Ball State, he found entertainment and pride in his ability to kick the football onto the roof of the popular dormitory, La Follette. In his healthier days, he loved creating and designing homes and building decks. He found pride in his work ethic and in his role as a regional sales manager at Siemens Corporation, formerly known as Powers. He overcame many obstacles in life and taught those around him the true meaning of resilience, determination, and strength. He loved his Diet Cokes, loud TVs, and big opinions. He is survived by his two daughters, Nicole Flesh and her husband Mark, Ashley Ritchie and her husband Patrick, as well as grandchildren Ellie, Will, Lucy, Joe, Henry, and Olivia. And longtime friend and love, Carol Candace Roeder. He is preceded in death by his mother, Wilma Keller, father, Richard Roeder, stepmother, Lila Roeder, sister, Lynn Beneke, and stepbrother, Alan Whitmer.